people everywhere.
Don't waste my video tape.
Fix it.
Bed and breakfast place. So you gotta sit there and relax instead of walking around and going
Statue of Peace, the Angel of Peace descending on her quadriga. Largest statue in London. If you look at the size of the horse there, just as it disappears in the tree, the horse, when it was built, 8 men had their dinner inside the horse just before it was put up in that place. And the design was put up there in 1912, and if you can't see it properly through the trees, you can just wait just a moment to be able to see a good view of it as we pass these traffic lights. Unfortunately, it didn't work that way. 2 years later, it was all shattered, but the archway itself was placed there in 1820s. On the left, the former home of the Duke of Wellington. Hello, here we have a little procession. Fortunately, I don't think it's going to affect us at all. The Hope After Abuse National Association for Abuse Against Children and Wives. On the left, the Queen Elizabeth Gates, and on the left, the statue of Achilles. The statue of Achilles was put there years ago to his current wife on the very roof of the Dorchester Hotel. And ahead of us, as we pass up Hyde Park, is the ahead of us are the stops of Marble Arch, for those of you wanting to join another route. Hyde Park on the left-hand side here, 135 acres, and it combines with Kensington Gardens on the far side of it, and in Kensington Gardens is Kensington Palace, the former home of Diana, Princess of Wales, and also the former home of Queen Victoria. If you look ahead of you, on the left-hand side, you'll see a number of buses queuing up. Those buses are the blue and the green road buses of the big bus company, and if you're wanting to get one of those, our stop is about 100 yards past here, and here are the ones blue and green here. These are the buses that you want to go if you're changing routes onto the blue or the green routes. To our left, straight down there, is Oxford Street. Those of you who want to do some shopping later in the day, this is Oxford Street, 1.5 miles of shops. Like the decor, he described the paintings as horror pink. So he moved out of the Connaught Hotel and moved into the Dorchester Hotel. The buildings on the right, beautiful terracotta and brick buildings. Oh, we've just missed the procession by Lewis and Davis. The procession that we saw coming down the road before, as we turned into Park Lane, is now going across the road in front of us. We've missed it by about a minute. So I'm sorry folks, we're going to be delayed here for a short while, watching the procession go by. Life after abuse. Only to tell you folks that this demonstration is making its way to Trafalgar Square, which is also our destination. So unless we can do a little bit of a crafty detour, then we may be stuck behind it for a considerable while. Yes. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 seats, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. 2, 3, 4, 5. Here is our stop, where our bus is ahead of us. Right next door to this large building on the left, which is the National Gallery, the finest collection of art anywhere in the world. All under one roof. And then as we come into the beautiful Trafalgar Square, the largest built-up square in London, not the largest open square, largest built-up square in London. There's at the far side of it the statue of Admiral Horatio Nelson, the man who was 105, pitted the British Navy against the combined Spanish and French navies, and this man was the victor of it. Unfortunately, Admiral Nelson lost his life in that battle and had to be brought back to England, and it was coming from the south coast of Spain. And in 1805 there was no refrigerator to preserve the meeting. With in front of you Charing Cross Hotel and Charing Cross Railway Station. 1863 of this Eleanor Cross outside it, erected originally by Edward I in 1291. Ahead of you on the left, look at the Zimbabwe House, look up to the second floor level, and you'll see the first ever naked statues of sculptures outside in the open air. These were put here in 1908, and in 1908, Jacob Epstein. And if you're interested in Jacob Epstein, there is an exhibition of his at the Tate Gallery. Some of his works on display there in the Tate Gallery. Covent Garden, the covered area of markets and shops and restaurants of our Covent Garden. And those of you who want to get off for Covent Garden or for the Strand Palace Hotel, here's the Strand Palace Hotel on our left hand side, and our stop for this and for Aldwych and for changing onto the green route. The next stop is just round of the British Broadcasting Association Corporation Overseas Service, the service which broadcasts 24 hours a day in 34 different languages throughout the world. On the right, Australia House, lovely building of Australia House, and if you're interested in the building, have a look now up to the top of the front of the building and have a look at the beautiful carvings of the horses of the sun on the front of Australia House. On the right here, St Clement Danes Church, and the little statue in the front of it is a very important man, Samuel Johnson, the man who first ever wrote the dictionary in the English language. It took him 7 years to write it. On the left, the Royal Court of Justice, placed there in 1888. And ahead of us, in the middle of the road, the Temple Bar, with on top of it the heraldic dragon, which is the symbol of the City of London, because we're now in the City of Westminster. If you look on this street sign to the left, you'll see underneath the City of Westminster. We're in the City of Westminster. And when it was built to bar nasty people coming in. And even today, when the Queen comes into the City of London, not suggesting she's a nasty person, but she also has to stop there and ask permission from the Lord Mayor of London, a tradition which dates back well into the early down the little side streets, the little narrow entries dating back right back into the 16th century. And down one of them lived Samuel Johnson, where he wrote his dictionary I've just mentioned. And he used to come for his drink here at this very pub, the Old Cheshire Cheese pub, which dates back to the time of Queen Elizabeth I. And she died in 1603. And here on the left, Scruffy Murphy's, one of the many Irish pubs along the area. And also on the other side, there's another one called the Tipperary. So it's not really a long way to Tipperary. On the left here, the Daily Telegraph, former Daily Telegraph offices. This is the headquarters, or was, of the Newspapers Corporation. And here you can see the figures of Mercury taking the news all around the world from the Daily Telegraph office. Now just an ordinary commercial enterprise. The window. Under the name Threadneedle Street there, some of you may have heard the expression, the old lady of Threadneedle Street. Not a woman, this is the bank, the familiar name given to the Bank of England, the old lady of Threadneedle Street. And ahead of us, Church of St Mary Woolnoth, one of many by Nicholas Hawksmoor, built in 1615. Ahead of us, the road leading down to the monument. Now the monument was built to celebrate or to commemorate the Great Fire of London. 1666, a great fire swept all around London and completely destroyed 80% of the city, including 89 churches. Later, 51 of them were rebuilt by Sir Christopher Wren. And the Kingdom construction anywhere in the world. It's 202 feet high. It's got nothing to support it, except the little bit of sellotape, which you can see down the bottom. Apart from that, it's completely freestanding, and the little relief at the bottom shows how King Charles II was trying, with the help of his son, trying to put the fire out and relieve and help the people of London. Beautiful feature. The fire ball at the top indicating the fire was regilded in 1954, and the lions on the bottom by Edward Pierce. And the journey now continues across London Bridge. And on the left, Adelaide House, South Australia. And look to your left here, you see the beautiful view of Tower Bridge. This Tower Bridge, built in 1894. The bridge we're standing on is London Bridge, and the original London Bridge was built in the year 90. And if you look over on the bank of the river, you'll see to the left there a little workman's hut, a little wooden hut. That's roughly the place where the first ever London Bridge was built in the year 90. A little bit further along the river from there, but not far from that little workman's hut. And that bridge that you can see on the left there, Tower Bridge, we're going to go over there in a few minutes and cross over and come on back onto the north side. This then is London Bridge, the 5th London Bridge, Prison of War Museum, here with the flags flying outside here. Very small museum, but very interesting about life in the Second World War. On the left, Tower Bridge again, with the large walkway. You can actually go over the walkway, I'll tell you how in a few moments. But first of all, let's look at the Tower of London, originally started in 1067 by King William I, a man known as King William the Conqueror, to everybody except the citizens of London. The citizens of London referred to William I as Duke William of Normandy, because he came to England, he conquered the English in the Battle of Hastings in 1066, came to London and never conquered them, because they had a big war around the city and he didn't attack it, and he decided instead just to have a conference with them, which he did eventually, and they agreed amicably to let him become the king. So they were never actually conquered. Well, he started the castle in 1067, and it was started as a sign to the people of London that he really meant business. He was going to be the king, whether they liked it or not. And it was eventually completed in, well, the centre part with the four turrets on, completed in 1097 by his son, King William II. Ahead of us then, 1894 this bridge was built. This is the Tower Bridge going over the Thames, and it's designed specifically to allow ships in and out. And as I've mentioned, one of the ships coming in and out was that one on the left, HMS Belfast, and the central section of the bridge raised into two parts, and each part weighs 1,000 tons, and it can be raised from flat as it is to vertical in 90 seconds. The little catamaran to the right belongs to Cable and Wireless, the communications network. And on the right, with the flashing light on the top, is Canary Wharf, the tallest building in London. If you want to come in this tower, you can come up this tower, walk across right above us, and then come down the other side. Interesting, and here is the entrance to what is known as the Tower Bridge experience, where you can witness that and have a fine view across London from right up on the top part of the walkway. Some of the renovations going on in the old Catherine's Dock on the right, and on the left, the lovely building of the Tower of London. The outside wall here was added on after King William II finished the central part. The succeeding kings of England, King Henry I, King Stephen and King Edward I, all completed or carried on with the building, and the last
okay. I'm not quite used to it, you see. No, I don't remember studying. No, I've done that almost all night, really. No.
Huge engine, isn't it? Yeah, no.
of 17 feet. What ahead of you is Horse Guards Parade, where between the... Right, get ready to look to your left as we go through the lights here. Look to your left now. There she goes. The time is exactly at 5:15. Synchronise your watches. She is never wrong. The time is at 5:15. Now that's the tower of Big Ben, and Big Ben is the name given to the bell inside the tower, not the name of Coronation Place to most of our kings and queens. It was there last year when the funeral of Princess Diana took place, of course. And you're coming up to our spot now for Parliament Square. If you want to go and take photos or take a closer look at Westminster Abbey and the Tower of Big Ben and the House of Parliament and the House of Lords. Being just across the other side of the road, on the right.
Almost in the